Go for it.
Now let's further explore how you've handled some situations that you experienced in your life. Describe a situation in which you were able to use persuasion to successfully convince someone to see things your way.
I suggested a way to significantly reduce the amount of time needed to complete tasks and keep the company ahead of schedule. Over the summer at the dry cleaning station, there are often only 2 people working at a time. Since it is a lot slower during the day, 2 people are expected to complete the task of what normally 4 people do. The 3 main tasks that need to be accomplished in the day are racking the clothes, running the counter, and checking the clothing before it's cleaned. The current policy at the time was 1 person racks the clothes, and the other person checks the clothing and runs counter. This setup is difficult to get everything accomplished. If 1 employee is on counter the whole time, then the clothes never gets checked and usually spills over into the next day's work. On average, racking the clothes takes 2 hours to complete with only 1 person. With this system, all the work was being saved for our last, busiest hour. Employees were scrambling to get work done, and often it wasn't completed during that day, putting the store behind schedule. I suggested we make a new system where both people start racking the clothes, and when this is accomplished, both employees would move on to checking the clothes and running the counter. My new system cut racking down by half, and employees were no longer rushing to get everything finished because they now had more time to complete the entire task. Our company, as a result, maintained ahead of schedule, and all the work was completed effectively and stress-free. My new system was so useful that my manager had everyone use it, and he thanked me for my talents.
That's great. Now please describe a time when you felt overwhelmed by having to meet a deadline.
I felt overwhelmed in my statistics class first semester of sophomore year. One of the main foundations of the class was being able to work in Excel. Before the class, I had only a basic level of Excel knowledge and knew I was going to need to get additional help if I wanted to be successful in the course. On the first day, our professor gave us an assignment to grade our skills in Excel. The project had to be completed and submitted online within 50 minutes. After the professor assigned the project, he had to leave the class because he had a meeting. My professor was not available to ask for help, and my other classmates were too consumed in their own projects so they couldn't answer any of my questions that I had. I felt overwhelmed because I knew I wasn't going to do well in the project within the allowed time and didn't want to start the semester off on the wrong foot. I did the project to the best of my abilities and submitted it on time. After the class, I sought help from a friend who was very knowledgeable in Excel, and he sat down and taught me all the in and outs of the program. After getting help from him, I reopened my previous project from the class and redid the project feeling more confident the second time. When I got the assignment back, I didn't do as well as I had hoped, but was able to recognize my mistakes. Throughout the semester, my Excel skills improved and I received an A in the class. My professor acknowledged my hard work and complimented me on my dedication to succeed.
That's great. Now please describe a time when you had to use excellent customer service.
As a host at Champ's Restaurant, I strive to always perform excellent customer service. One time in particular, I was required to go above and beyond my boss's expectations. Before I started my shift, one of the servers had taken a to-go order, but forgot to relay the details to me. I took in the order and put all the food together so it could be ready when the customer arrived. I was waiting for the customer to come in for their order when they called our location. The customer was very upset, saying that the employee had brought in their order, promised delivery for lunch, but no one had shown up yet. Our restaurant never delivers orders, but I got permission from my boss to drive the order to the company instead of telling them they would need to come in and get it. My boss agreed to this and also had me take a free appetizer and dessert to show how sorry we were for the mix-up. When I arrived at the location, I set up the order in a catering style and made the presentation look excellent for the customer. The customer thanked me for my presentation setup and for the additional free food. That customer continued doing business with us in the future, and my boss thanked me for the ability to think quick on my feet, show loyalty to the company, and demonstrate excellent customer service.
Now let's summarize our conversation. Thinking about what we've covered today, what would you say is your chief strength? This is your chance to brag a little. What is the most important asset that you bring to this job?
The most important asset that I would bring to your company is my leadership skills. I have demonstrated that I can provide leadership skills for my job as well as extracurricular activities. Being a manager at the dry cleaning station and being vice president for my club require me to execute strong leadership skills. As a manager, I am constantly focused on helping with the success of the company. I train the employees to be their best and also deal with the company's finances personally when I open and close the store. As vice president, I took the role of starting the club. This means I had to recruit new members and build the club up from scratch. It has taken a lot of personal time, but has been very rewarding. I have been successful as a manager and as a vice president. I am very comfortable in a leadership position. It is my chief chief strength that I would bring to working at your company.
You've given me a good review of your background and experience. I've enjoyed talking with you, and I appreciate your sharing this information with me. It will be of value to us in making our decision. Before we close, what else would you like to cover? Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me about the job, our organization, or anything else?
I only have 3 semesters left in school and was wondering if I want a full-time position after my internship, what are specific classes I should be taking to help me prepare?